Well, that was a very interesting SmackDown with an ending that I could have sat here and tried to predict for the next 42 years, and I absolutely would have failed. Also, as always, remember, if you want my proper SmackDown review, you can check it out on What Culture Wrestling, who I freelance for. There'll be something on the screen, or you can just go there. And please do subscribe to me and subscribe to them as well, more importantly than everything. But yes, at the end of last night's episode of SmackDown, maybe today when you watched it, who the flub knows, CM Punk came out dressed as the Doctor of THUGANOMICS for what's that, like 2005? And because John Cena had taken something he had done from 2011, the pipe bomb promo, he took his rap gimmick, I suppose, and he said lines like, "You're more problematic than Hulk Hogan." He compared himself to Drake versus Kendrick. We remember that beef from early in the year, which did go very quiet from nowhere. I guess the Super Bowl was the home run. He said that John Cena had buried more people than The Undertaker. There was a bunch of lines. The one that definitely got lost in the crowd, he said, "Yeah, I'd struggle too if the company hired my ex," which was a reference to Nikki Bella. That went over everybody's heads. It was an interesting segment. I like the fact that we did it. You know my take on pro wrestling. We did a video about this yesterday. You can check it out. Nothing should ever be off the table. Sometimes wrestling should be wrestling. Sometimes wrestling should be sports entertainment. This was definitely more sports entertainment. And you may be surprised to hear this from me, the king of goofy wrestling for life. I thought it was fine. That's right. I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it for what it was. But you saw some people, I know people love to go overboard on the internet, which I actually like. Man, if it's all positive energy, I got no issue with it whatsoever. But some people were like, "This is the greatest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that CM Punk did this." And I was like, that's cute. I hate the fact I've said that twice now, but that's kind of how I felt. I thought the rap was hit and miss. That's not fair. But it was like, okay. You know, I didn't think it was anything like, oh my gosh. But I didn't think that it was terrible either. And that is a hard thing to pull off, going out there and doing a rap. I think my big thing with CM Punk is he's such an anomaly when it comes to pro wrestling. You don't actually have to overthink his character at all. You just have to give him a microphone and say things. Say things, CM Punk, and he'll get me hype and jazz. But at the same time, you don't want to do that consistently all of the time. But it was a very short segment compared to what I thought it was going to be. And someone else said this to me, so I'm stealing their idea. I kind of agree with it to a certain extent. It's a bit weird that John Cena would throw CM Punk through a table, snap into a Slim Jim, and then not want to get a violent response on him. Do you know what I mean? It was deliberately non-violent. I mean, that's kind of good in the grand sphere of pro wrestling because we see the angry, aggressive attack revenge all of the time. I like the fact that it happened. I like the fact that we can discuss it. I don't think I'll ever talk about it again. And this is why wrestling is so cool, right? On paper, that sounds like something that would be right up my street. And then you watch it in practice, like, yeah, it was fine. It was okay. Certainly didn't light up my house as much as others. But then I'll watch something else. Like, I got super pumped about the R-Truth Alistair Black thing, which I get to in just 1 second. But that's the joy of the roller coaster and why I would never take away your joy. If you did enjoy it, I did not think it was bad. Like, I think it was the right thing to do. Not necessarily at the right time, given this was the go-home show for Night of Champions, which is going down in a few hours. But other than that, yes. Okay, not so bad. I don't say average, that's not fair. Thinking outside the box is nice, because you don't want to always do the same thing. And also, if we are about to end the John Cena CM Punk feud at Night of Champions, which actually I think we should extend a little bit longer now, but whether we do that or not, I don't know. This was the time to do it, because it's the last time you can do something creative on TV, and the fans loved it. Most people on the internet seemed to love it. My favourite part was we had a Punk Life logo, and that means that means that CM Punk, within the worlds of kayfabe, had sat down and gone to Photoshop and gone, man, I can make this logo so good. And John Cena sold it well too. He could not believe it. There's a whole conversation going on about CM Punk now. I've talked about it on 1,000 videos just so I don't get any comments about it. I'm not going to talk about it here. I don't feel comfortable talking about human beings before I've talked to the actual human being himself. There's obviously conversations that should be had, but I don't think on a video where I've just sat down to review SmackDown. And also, there are so many other things that I've ignored in the past that I should have brought up if I was leaning that direction, and I'm not, so it seems unfair to do it now just because the discourse has become quite loud, I suppose. So we'll just leave it there. That's all I've got to say about it as well. That's how kind of, what's what I'm looking for, sort of fast it passed me by. I don't really have much else to say about it, which is kind of crazy on a reaction video, but it's just true. I was like, okay, we did that, and now what are we going to do? I'm much more intrigued about the finish. Some people have now started to pitch that maybe we do a double turn. That's how John Cena starts his babyface run and Punk goes heel. I'm not against that at all. Given the last few weeks, maybe you would be able to pull that off. It just doesn't feel like the right time to turn Punk heel because, of course, he is quite an over babyface now. The Saudi Arabia stuff is a little bit of an outlier, but most arenas in the US especially, and in Europe, people go crazy for him. So I think he should be a heel in the future, but I think he should be closer to WrestleMania 42 when he takes on Cody Rhodes. And now people are saying maybe Cody Rhodes turns heel. It feels like you don't need to do it with John Cena is what I'm saying. But I also don't know how you get out of the match. We can now talk about R-Truth. Ron Killings was my sort of asterisk in order to have some shenanigans, but he has definitely turned his back on all this now, unless it's a bit of a trick. But yeah, he came into the ring. He did still call out John Cena. It's not like he's forgotten that, so maybe he does get involved there, but I've kind of backtracked a little bit. Aleister Black turns up. Black masses him right in the face because, of course, R-Truth interrupted his match last week. And then Damian Priest told Aleister Black off, and Carmelo Hayes told off Damian Priest. And the reason I got so excited about that is these are 4 dudes that I just love. Aleister Black, yes. R-Truth, yes. Damian Priest, yes. Carmelo Hayes, yes. So if we can kind of formulate something here that maybe even ties into the US Championship too, it gets me super excited. And just serious Ron Killings is something I'm here for. We're still kind of on the precipice at the moment, but of course I love the goofiness of the R-Truth character. One of the greats, the reason we wanted him all to come back, but let's try something different. It goes back to what we were just talking about with the Punk Life stuff. All of that couldn't have taken up more than 5 minutes of TV time, which is a hilarious reason to travel halfway across the world. But these are 4 guys, they just need more. They need something to sink their teeth into, and they're all really good. And it gets me excited about SummerSlam because there must have been a reason we did this today. SummerSlam is like a month away, which is too many shows. Different video again for a different day. Enjoyed all the Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton stuff. That is such a great match. I do think, as I've mentioned to you 1,000 times, they are going to have the feud of 2025 or the back end of 2025. That's going to be the one that we stretch out. One of them will be bad guy and one of them will be good guy, or at least they'll lean in that direction, which is why WWE's been so smart to book the babyface versus babyface match now. Let's get it out the way. Give me everything. Give me an apple, give me a pear, give me an orange. I don't just want to eat one fruit all of the time. And here they were respectful to each other. Randy Orton once again said, I have to do whatever it takes. I'm putting my feelings to one side. Maybe it was the first time Cody's really, no, not really, but he definitely drew a line under the fact, you were my mentor, I love you, as we turned it into Star Wars. And Randy Orton wants revenge against John Cena, so he wants to win King of the Ring. Also wants to redeem himself from losing to Gunther last year. And Cody's like, listen, dude, your legacy is set, man. I'm the one that needs to get my championship back from John after he booted me in the balls and smacked me in the head with the title. There's reasoning, there's logic, there's jeopardy, to use my favorite word over and over again, because Randy Orton can beat Cody Rhodes, and you'd be a bit surprised because Cody doesn't lose all the time, especially back-to-back after WrestleMania, but it's Randy Orton. Randy Orton has the power to beat anybody, and Cody Rhodes beating Randy Orton that could then trigger a Randy Orton heel turn, potentially even missing SummerSlam, who the flub knows. Tremendous, awesome, excellent. All they have to do is talk to each other, well, with their wrestling voices, but I presume like they would talk to each other backstage, and this one just works. If you're like me and you watch it on Netflix, this is when the broadcast just dropped for 35 minutes. Thankfully, WWE uploaded this segment to social media, and they shot it with ringside cams. There was a power outlet, right? So I presume they had to use battery cameras. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. What do I know about production? But they have to do this more. It felt like some kind of, I don't know, a reality show or a documentary. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. But you got different shots. There was a different graininess to the quality. We should do that every now and then, man. It really made the show feel fresh. And when there is so much professional wrestling on TV, I understand you need continuity because we as human beings enjoy that. But every now and then, if it works, we got to start thinking outside the box. I thought it was so cool to watch it like that, especially because, again, I missed it on Netflix and I got to see it on social media. Julia is the brand new US Women's Champion. Didn't like this at all. The match was fine, but that belt is in desperate need of a rehab like we did to the Women's Intercontinental title. Zelina Vega never came out to address Julia, never called her out, even though twice she told us she was going to do it. Julia never explained why she attacked Zelina Vega after that Chelsea Green hardcore match, whatever the flub it was. I do not understand what we're doing here. And it's not me trying to be a negative Nancy or a positive Pete. It's just a bit lame to use that word again. It's just like, well, how? I was glad that WWE treated this like a big deal, right? You have to do that. And that gives me hope that we are going to change things around. But Zelina Vega could not have done anything. No time to talk. Put in tiny backstage segments. They're not on the show at all. You can't get over and connect with people if you're not allowed to explain what this belt means to you or how you want it. Just felt like nothing. And you don't want the WWE titles to feel like nothing. It's why I got annoyed at that SmackDown tag team match too. The Wyatts versus the Street Profits was fine for what it was. Actually, I was getting going. I was enjoying it. And then Los Garza just running. The tag teams quite literally around the ring. I watch the show every week. I know that distraction, interference, and confusion is out of control. Why would Nick Aldis allow this? Oh yeah, just go out and hang out, ruin my tag team title match. I mean, I'm exaggerating there. I understand you have to have some wrestling tropes, but this one was way too telegraphed. And I thought when they did run in, I felt disappointed, right? Like a dad. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we did that. And now it just means anytime you see this again, you're not going to buy in. And you always have to believe that it's going to be a winner. Otherwise, you'll check out instantly. So I'm going to give it 10 minutes and somebody's going to interfere. So what do I care? You can't root for your favorites and you can't hate the bad guys. So these two matches, given they were title matches, the Julia winning is good because we have to do something in order to open the door and have a catalyst to improve it. The SmackDown tag division is crazy. The depth is amazing. Like Phoenix and who the flub was it, Andrade, took on DIY in an awesome tag team match, maybe the best thing on SmackDown. And that proved to you how good the SmackDown tag division is. If Andrade and Phoenix are about to become a duo, it makes it even deeper when Raw has no teams. We've got to get a draft done and throw some people over to Raw. But you lose your edge, not Adam Copeland, he went to AEW. If you are going to have title matches, then just go shrug emoji. Sorry, that just happened. And it kind of mugs off the Wyatts too. The Wyatts are meant to be scary. Even they fall foul to distraction, interference, and confusion. So these two things I thought what really stood out as we just need to go back to the drawing board, hit reset a little bit. So we've done that with Julia, which is good. And there's just way more we can do, right? You don't want to fall into this bizarre pattern where it's you fight me and me fight you, then nothing goes down. I mean, the Phoenix Andrade DIY match is a great example of what, you certainly could pull out. I still like the Jacob and Solo Sikoa stuff. I've now changed my mind. I think Solo Sikoa is going to win the US Championship thanks to Hikuleo because SummerSlam is so close you can switch it back. So that's totally fine. I am a bit disillusioned, which is way too strong. That's such an over-the-top word. And I don't want the same to happen with Hikuleo. I think this is why I thought it. The current portrayal or presentation of JC Mateo needs to be more. Because if you are a nerd like me and you've watched Jeff Cobb for years, you know there's more to this. And I understand it's early days, but I think we've got to that point where we need to show it. Let him talk a bit more. Let him show more personality. Let him do kind of, not more stuff in the ring, but yeah, more stuff in the ring, really, more New Japan stuff, because the best way it was ever described to me is when you get like a big job in real life. So, I got to work on Sky a while back. Why I'm making this about me, I don't know. This was years ago, and I got it off the back of my YouTube work, but then I thought, oh no, if I'm going to do Sky TV, it's like cable TV, I guess, in America, I should be more professional. And someone said to me, no, don't do that. The reason you got there is for what you did on YouTube. And they compared it to the England soccer team. So you get called up to the England football soccer team from your club because of what you've done there. So just carry it on. And it doesn't really work, but it kind of feels like if you've hired Jeff Cobb based on the work that he's done before, let him be Jeff Cobb. And he's not being Jeff Cobb. There just seems to be something that we're holding back. I think it's time to let him off the leash. I really, really do. It's a minor criticism. It's tiny. And a lot of that probably sounded like gibberish. And Jimmy versus JC was still a good match, especially because Solo's attempt of getting Jimmy Uso back into the fold was, I'll kill you. Which is a choice, of course. He distracts. Again, way too many distractions on these shows. And then, Jeff Cobb hits a tour of the islands, gets to 1, 2, 3. Jacob Fatu comes out, makes the save. And then later on, Jimmy's like, didn't need that. And Jacob was like, well, I didn't need it last week. And now they're going to be a tag team. But that's okay. Because if Solo Sikoa wins the championship and you do the rematch at SummerSlam and Hikuleo comes, you can do JC and Hikuleo taking on Solo and Jacob until we get back to Solo. It's fine. I just enjoy all the characters, which I think is another reason I want JC to be allowed to do more. He's certainly not a weak link. Like, I enjoy him. But if we really lean into it like we have done with Solo, and especially Jacob, I just think they all stand out that down the line, when they do have to split off, they're all going to be in great positions. But it's fun. And I like the Jimmy Uso, Jacob Fatu getting back together stuff, because it does feel like we took the Bloodline for the main event and now we put them in the mid-card, but we're still kind of telling those stories, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax was fine. It was more than fine, actually, because they put loads of effort in to their hardcore match, or street fight, whatever you're calling it. Sorry, last woman standing. And that kind of protected Nia Jax too, because she didn't get pinned. I just feel like we've gone back to the well one too many times. I mean, there was this splash by Nia Jax where she just killed Tiffany Stratton. And Naomi came out, of course, and did the whole, I want to cash in. The ref was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't speak Russian. Naomi was like, I'm not talking Russian. I'm talking English. Swahili? You're talking Swahili? No, I'm talking English. French, Italian. And by that point, Tiffany Stratton took her Phoenix down. And, of course, she used a briefcase to take out Naomi, used a briefcase to take out Nia Jax. Nia Jax throws all the tables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're done. Tiffany Stratton just needs a proper feud. That's probably going to be Naomi. And this kind of ties into the Jade Cargill Oscar stuff, who had their big speakathon before their final. I like that too, because Naomi inserted herself into that as well as she should be doing. So really, Jade Cargill, I think, will win Queen of the Ring, because Oscar obviously kicked her in the head here after Jade had pushed past her to get to Naomi. And then Jade Cargill should win that belt. Naomi should cash in instantly, and then we have a Jade, Tiffany, Naomi situation, and that ties into what we've done here, and then we can go forward. It's no disrespect to Nia Jax, who I love, by the way. I think she's underrated and awesome, but she needs something new to do just because she's been doing the same thing for a long old time. Oscar will obviously go back to Raw. I still actually think they're going to do the Io Sky match, and that's how they're going to get there, especially because Liv Morgan got injured, which absolutely sucks. But I just think that Naomi is the champion and you have Tiffany and Jade chasing her, which both has personal beef. I guess you could argue that Tiffany's is more professional because it's the briefcase thing, but also ties into what Tiffany did to get that belt. I just think that would be a lot of fun. So, a crazy episode of SmackDown in many ways. I saw some people really praising it, and it certainly had super duper highs, but the lows to me, I won't even call them lows, there were just some incidences where I'm like, this doesn't really feel massive like a go-home show to me. That's not fair either. It was just a bit weird. However, SmackDown is going back to 2 hours next week. I understand nobody agrees with me. It's perfectly fine. That's what this engagement is all about. I think SmackDown over the next month is going to become an awesome wrestling show because they have the ideas. Sometimes it's just elongated. It's a shame that the matches like the tag between Andrade and Phoenix won't get as much time. But it's not like WWE was doing that every single week. So if we can find a way to still do that, but also just compress everything and compact it and make it more of a hard-hitting, almost like adrenaline kind of a program, I really do think it's going to take a step up. And for a lot of 2024, that's what it was doing. Because it was 2 hours of hard-hitting action. See you later. Here's some stories. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for next week. And no, I don't think they used it to give people more opportunities, which is what the argument that people threw at me. I mean, Carmelo Hayes didn't benefit from it. I wouldn't say that Aleister Black necessarily benefited from it. All of his stuff could have been fit on a 2 hours. Andrade and Phoenix already just got going again. There's a bunch of other guys that we haven't seen. So I just think it's better at 2 hours. But I'm perfectly happy to be proven wrong, right? I just want to give you my opinion and we'll take it from there. But in terms of the pay-per-view, very excited about Cody versus Randy. I think even maybe a little bit more than Punk Cena. It's kind of an either or because I think Cody's going to win, but Randy's obviously just there. CM Punk and John Cena, I have no idea. I don't think CM Punk is going to be a world champion, but John Cena's not just going to beat him. And I can't believe it's going to be dick shot, belt shot, unless we are going to do more at SummerSlam. But that makes it super duper interesting. I think Jade Cargill versus Asuka is going to be a really, really fun match, so I look forward to that as well. It should be a good show. I mean, you've got Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. There's no way that can be bad. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, based on the reactions both of those guys got at the pre-show press conference thingamajig. Could be super fascinating and super interesting. But these are my thoughts. They don't matter. What does is yours. Please drop me a comment below. Also, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is my weird take on wrestling these days. Did it yesterday for fun, but I'd like it if you checked it out. Otherwise, patreon.com/Simon316 if you want to check out my watch-alongs. We're doing one of my matches this week, as voted by you. Very, very flattering. GorillaMind.com/Simon. Get 10% off all of their wares. Go to the website. It ships worldwide. I use these fitness supplements. They are great, and they're always doing deals off. Just put my code in anytime you buy, and the money will go down. Simon316 on social media. Simon J. Miller on TikTok, where I did do a video about wrestling grifters. Check it out. I'll say no more. Simon Miller on Cameo for personalized videos. Pro Wrestling Tees and Big Cartel for merchandise. And that is that. Now, I have to go prepare for Night of Champions. I probably won't put the video up till tomorrow, just because I don't want to spam you. But you can let me know in the comments if you don't care. But I will say them. Take care. Love ya.